Hey everyone. Today we're going to do a swim jig. Um, it's going to be a large northern style swim jig, and we're going to do it as an umbrella tie. In the vise, we have a 1/2 ounce casting jig. Excellent swim jig, by the way. Uh, and we got a 5/0 Victory 10-886 hook. The color is Barlow's Double Trouble White. Really love this paint, and um, the paint and the skirt material are instrumental in this because this is an old pattern that I had. I don't think I ever put it on the channel. I'd have to go back and look through it, but this is one of those things I talked about before, which is what's old is new again. A lot of times um, I go back through my book filled with recipes for different kinds of patterns, and they get refreshed from time to time as new paint comes out or a new skirt material comes out. Something that's around that wasn't when I made the pattern comes out, and it actually makes it better. So I go back and I rehash these all the time, and this is no exception. This is Silverside Shad is the what I call this pattern. Real simple deal, only two colors, and now that I'm done blabbing, I'll try to keep my mouth shut. But we're going to start here with a little bit of super glue brush on and just a little bit on the collar. Don't need much at all. Just put it in there so my thread gets locked in, because I'm not going to be tying all the way down at the ring right here. That's usually where you get your flare at. And I'm using these loom scissors so I can get in. This makes this pair of scissors makes this kind of tie real easy. So I get a quick base started, and the first of the two colors goes on. It's 2.5 tabs total. And what I do is, this is the first one. This is Pearl Pepper Silver Gray, or something to that effect. I'll leave a link to it in the description box. Um, killer look for this particular pattern. And on this size jig, a real easy way when you're doing an umbrella tie to get like the proper amount of spacing, so when your material folds back on itself, you'll get a really nice length. And that's put the end right at the end of the collar, and that kind of makes it perfect. Got to get a hold of my material first. That would be better. And tie it tight to hold it. But what we want here is just about half coverage. It doesn't have to be perfect, because the next thing we're going to do, this is a 1/2 tab of silver crystal. And what I do is I cut it in half. And the reason I do that is we're going to put half over here, thus the silver sides. I used to do this before it was silver and gray skirt tabs. And it doesn't have to be super spread out. Just want it that you have it on the sides. It'll blend in real nice with our striped color. And then we're going to add our last one. And if you took notice, like one end of this is silver and the other end is pearl pepper. So this one I tied the silver in at the bottom, and now this one's going with the pearl at the bottom. That way we don't have, it gives it a more mottled appearance instead of having, if you want the stripes lined up, go silver on silver. If you want a little bit of modeling going through it, reverse it. Silver on one, pearl on the other. And it's going to make sure material's distributed really well. And now I'm going to finish off the collar. Not completely, just the top of this. Now we're going to take our scissors and I'm going to pull up on this like you would if you were cutting living rubber. Now you don't have to do this. You can leave it like it is. You could cut it a little bit longer. It doesn't matter, but I do it just to make it look a little neater. Pull it up. And with these scissors, you could get in real tight. So that way you have like a true umbrella look to it. There's nothing underneath. You just got to be real careful cutting it. And that's where these scissors come in so handy. They are a little on the expensive side, but I think they're worth having. But for years, I've made this without having them. So it's just one of those tools that makes things easier, like a rotary vise. You don't need it, but it's so much easier. It makes things so nice to... And there we go. Forgetting where my, is, my scrap bin. Now all I'm going to do is just wrap those butt ends. And I've never had any of these ever fall apart. So if you're thinking, oh, you know, there's not a lot of material that you're tied in with that's going to let loose. No, it won't. As long as you have a good tie, your wraps are nice and tight, you're fine. It'll hold up. This is the hardest thing is just getting a good wrap though with all the material hanging off, because again, most of your length is off the front end. So all I do is just extend that collar a little bit to make sure them butt ends are wrapped down, and it's neat. And that's just for me. It has no bearing on anything else other than me being anal about how these umbrella ties look. It's pretty good. Now we're going to whip finish this. I'm going to try to wrap this up to make it a little easier to whip finish. When I'm doing this, not on camera, just trying to get a bunch of these made, it goes quick. It's not as hard as I make it look. For me, I kind of make it look harder because of my sausage fingers, trying to stay out of the way of the camera view. And so don't get intimidated by it. It's really pretty easy. Just gotta make sure I don't Get the clip. 5. Cinch it. And again, 1, 2, 3. We got hung up in the skirt material there. That's good. 8 will work. Now, cut this off and put our head cement on. We'll get the finished length and put a weed guard in it, and we'll show you what we have. Loon water-based head cement. I got a question about this the other day about the water-based head cement. And evidently somebody used it and they didn't think it was working the right way because the thread, when they coated the thread, it was more or less a matte type finish rather than a glossy. And yeah, it does dry like that. But here's the thing. If you want gloss, you use either Sally Hansen's Hard as Nails, or you could use like this Hardhead Clear, but they take longer to dry. And so you got to cut this. I got a little piece of thread dangling here. Okay, I'm going to see where we need to be with our length. Get the big scissors out. You want to make sure you have your material all stretched to the same amount. You don't want a lot of stretch, just make it that you don't have any slack. And always err on the side of more, because if you cut your skirt material too short, there's nothing you could do about it. But if you cut it a little long, you can adjust it later on. Super glue gel. And our weed guard. And there you have it. Silverside Shad swim jig. This is, again, the larger northern style, 1/2 ounce, 5/0 hook. Give it a shot. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.